Sorry, Dave, but I can't do that. Stanley Kubrick, one of my favourite film directors. Stanley Kubrick, the very man that influenced Cillian Murphy to become an actor. 2001, A Space Odyssey, one of my favourite movies. Ligeti, atmospheres, incredible. But again, the scenes, the dawn of civilization scene, the re-entry scene, the bedroom scene, the HAL scene, the mothership scene, and of course, the monolith scene. All of these aggregate into one thing: genius. Stanley Kubrick was a genius, if there ever was one. Art imitates life. Life imitates art. NASA had just finished designing their spacesuits for the Apollo mission, and basically they summoned Kubrick, have a word, and they basically asked Kubrick how could their spacesuits be more congruent with the aesthetic of Kubrick's spacesuits. Also, they did a little quid pro quo with NASA reciprocating for Barry Lyndon. Great movie from Kubrick. Filmed around here, actually. And they gave him lighting that was that replicated the lighting from the 18th century, which made Barry Lyndon very, very authentic. Also, his kind of prognostication with regard to AI and HAL, absolutely ahead of its time, and pretty much very close to what we have now. Clockwork Orange, one of my favourite movies. And again, not all of Clockwork Orange is to my taste, but I would say that Walter/Wendy Carlos, Moog-inflected pastiches, kind of parodies of Beethoven and kind of neo-Baroque classicism. Very, very influential and very impressive. Also, the dystopian kind of theme, the droogs, the milk bars, all very influential. Influential in kind of youth culture, especially in Britain, but beyond. Very, very influential. But also some incredible characters, like Aubrey Morris, who was Mr. Deltoid, Alex, parole officer. Fantastic guy, fantastic actor. But also Malcolm McDowell as Alex. Incredible. So incredible, he found it hard to get roles later on because he was typecast as Alex. Also, it was the genius of Anthony Burgess with the vernacular of the bifurcation of Cockney and Russian as the kind of lingua franca. But it was the genius of Kubrick that brought that to life and gave it the personification in the movie itself. It was really, really incredible. And there was a time when Cillian Murphy said to me after a lesson, so what are you doing tonight? And I said, I'm going to practice, and then I'm going to watch Clockwork Orange. And Cillian Murphy's a resourceful guy. I reckon he asked around and got himself a copy of Clockwork Orange. Clockwork Orange wasn't available. Kubrick banned it himself, and but I managed to get a copy of it and watched it over and over and over again. One of the most influential movies I have seen, and again, not all of it to my taste, but A lot of it is absolutely fantastic. And and again, you know, Kubrick was a genius. There's no doubt about that. The one thing was the Napoleon movie. There's a warehouse out there somewhere full of research material, index cards, boxes full of research that Kubrick did for Napoleon. He actually, on breaks from Clockwork Orange, flew to Romania and Soviet Ukraine and actually cut deals with the governments for extras. So thousands upon thousands of soldiers were going to dress up in period Napoleonic costumes and do battle. And that had all been arranged. Scenes scouted, everything done, all the work done. But unfortunately, War and Peace didn't work out at the box office. And Kubrick's sponsors and patrons didn't go with it. Great shame, because I think he would have done the piece de resistance à la Napoleon. Thank you very much for listening. And just to reiterate, Kubrick, he was a genius. Thank you very much.